Hello. I did this video the other day about. I did two videos. One that was 6 things that I kind of like or miss about Iceland. I'm from Iceland. I moved away from there a long time ago, and then 6 things that I don't miss or I don't like about Iceland. And yeah, then I decided, okay, but what do I actually, or I wanted to share with you what I actually like about living here in Prague, in the Czech Republic, where I live, I will do also a video of 6 things that I don't like. So you can check out that earlier video about Iceland if you're interested on my channel. You can subscribe down there somewhere. You can also look at my podcast or listen to my podcast, both on YouTube but also on Spotify and Apple. And that's different people talking about different stuff. Everything from strippers to CEOs. And Prague, what do I like about Prague? Nobody cares. No one cares about what you do, how you look, or anything. Maybe I'm in some expat bubble in some sense that I don't feel the social pressure, but I don't think that pressure is as big here as it is, for example, in my home country, Iceland, or where I come from, because that's a tiny community, so everybody has an opinion on everything you do, whether it's how you dress, what you do, what you study, how you choose to live your life. Here, no one gives a shit, which is a positive, but it's also a negative, so that will actually be on the negative things that I don't like about Prague as well. The city is Prague is super livable, so that's the second thing. Like, it's, public transport is brilliant here. You can get everywhere. You don't necessarily need to have a car like I have, but I only bought this car because I wanted to talk to you guys. And you can get from end to end in the city very easily. Everything is on time. It's super green, a lot of parks, part of it is very well maintained. I mean, the city center is extremely beautiful. I think I've traveled, I don't know, probably 70, 80 countries in the world, and this is the most beautiful city that I've seen, I think. And it has a lot of, festivals and stuff like that. There's no crime. I mean, there's like pickpocketing, and that stuff, but not like violent crimes on the streets. And I've seen one bar fight here in 13 years. In Iceland you need to be 13 minutes in the country and then you can see a bar fight. They smoke more weed and drink more beer, so I guess they're more relaxed than the people who are doing coke and speed and all that stuff and drinking vodka. Another thing, the third thing is for me that's very important. It's super dog friendly. You can take a dog anywhere with you on public transport, into a lot of stores, into shopping malls. You can take them to restaurants, bars, and they're welcome everywhere. And on the streets, there's a lot of dogs that walk around without leash, and they just, the owners have just trained them to understand how it is to walk amongst people and cars and stuff like that. Like my dog, she never crosses the street unless I tell her that she's allowed to, and she's never on the leash, never got into any trouble. It's unlike in Iceland, where you can see people are pulling their dogs apart so that they don't sniff each other. So yeah, I don't think I would want to have a dog, for example, in Iceland. It's weird there, everybody is claiming that they're allergic, which is crazy, because just 100 years ago that whole nation lived in houses with animals inside. So in 100 years they managed to get everyone allergic. It doesn't hold water, that theory. But what else do I like? Prague is like a melting pot. I mean, you have cultures from everywhere. You have a lot of Americans here, British, Germans, and then you have a lot of Russians, Kazakhs, Ukrainians, even Polish people, Turkish, Africans, and basically from all the Balkan countries. So it's really like a melting pot, and the expat community here is quite big. I think in Prague it's like 1.2 million people, and I think the expat community is probably like 150,000 or something like that. And obviously now with all the Ukrainians coming, that's like 300,000 or 340, 50,000 new expats coming to the country. And this gives a special flavor in a way that, like you have very multicultural cuisine or available. It's not all high quality, but some of it is. And yeah, and when it comes to just any kind of events and social life, you know, like I never imagined that, you know, I would have friends from Argentina or you know, or Kazakhstan or something, but I do, and that I wouldn't have had in Iceland. There's much more diversity in the terms of what kind of people I socialize with and know. The fourth thing is, there are, fourth thing, no, this was the fourth thing, right? Yeah, melting pot, yeah. Yeah, the fifth thing, that should have been the fourth thing, maybe it would have sounded cool. The fifth thing is that there are 4 seasons. So you have, like, we have proper winter, we have proper spring, proper summer, proper autumn. And summer, spring, summer and autumn are great here. You know, like the city kind of takes on a very different atmosphere. It has some, I don't know, there are some pheromones in the air or something. It gets horny somehow, it's weird. And the winter can be a little bit more kind of gloomy, but it doesn't snow very much. It can get cold, but it doesn't snow too much in the city, but you can drive like 1.5 hours and then you're in a ski resort. So that's great. So you kind of get the best of both in a way that you can live in a city where you don't have to, you know, force your way out of your house through some 1 meter of snow or whatever, like sometimes happens in Iceland. But you can still go somewhere where you can ski. And then and in the summer, you know, it's like proper summer. It's like super warm and you know, like can 30 degrees and sunshine, and it doesn't rain too much and so on. And the sixth thing which I like here is that it has potential. Like, it's still growing. It's you know, the middle class is growing here. There's, in those 13 years that I've lived in Prague, it has changed a lot. There's much more availability of quality stuff. You don't have to, you know, like when I came here, you know, like people were kind of whispering, yeah, I heard you can get good food or good meat there, or you can, you know, there was this one burger place and they were open twice a week and there was a waiting list, you know, like this has all changed because the people have gotten more, let's say, better off financially. There's a lot of foreign investment here. There's a huge startup scene when it comes to IT and technology and stuff like that. And at the same time, the country has a lot of industries, like heavy industries and let's say manufacturing, cars and beers, of course. And the tourist business here is huge. So it stands on a lot of different legs. The country isn't dependent on one thing. And it has a lot of potential still. You know, you can still come here and make business and do something cool and clever, and it will work. And the customers are coming there. You know, let's say the population grew into becoming a customer of something that is nicer. Now you have, as I said earlier, there is a lot of diversity when it comes to gastro and stuff like that, and in a quality range also that is very different than what was here when I came. So that and it can only get better, and I think not just the Czech Republic but the region in general is probably the region of Europe that has the highest potential, because the people are actually still willing to work and do something, and they want a better life, you know, whereas in some of the other countries they already have everything and they're just fighting about whether men can be pregnant or something like that. So these are these things. Please in the comments tell me if I'm wrong or what I forgot. Actually, I got a lot of points on that for the Icelandic stuff. There were people that wrote on my LinkedIn of all places that they counted some stuff that I forgot, and they were right. There were things there that I actually forgot that I really like about Iceland, but I just they didn't come to my mind. So I would like to hear, you know, if there are any things about Prague to like. I didn't mention the beer. I'm probably the only expat that doesn't mention beer, but I'm not a beer guy. If I was, I would be 200 kilos and an alcoholic probably. So luckily I haven't gone down that route. So let me know in the comments, subscribe to the channel, check out my podcast, and have a super cool day. See you.